Hi, in this video we're going to discuss how to fix our lack of communication in marriage. Communication in marriage is a huge subject and we could easily talk about it for a couple of hours, but in this session we're going to talk for just a few minutes to share just 3 points.
So welcome to our YouTube channel. We're called The Marriage Partnership. And if you haven't seen or heard us before, we're Kevin and Mandy, and we've been married for over 36 years. And we've been supporting and encouraging engaged and married couples through Christian courses and mentoring for around 18 years.
So on with today's topic, lack of communication in marriage. The first thing to recognise is that most marriages will struggle with poor or less than perfect communication at times. As we move through the seasons of life and our increasingly busy world and modern day culture, it's quite common for many couples to feel as if they have lost connection or have drifted apart. You're talking, but you're not really connecting about anything other than the mundane. You're talking at a superficial level. And there are multiple strategies for helping you to reconnect, but here are just a few tips for today.
So the first point is, give your partner focused attention. What does that mean? Well, really concentrate on each other. You know, when someone's talking, when your husband and wife are talking to you, then stop what you're doing. Listen. Help them to realise that you are actually wanting to hear what they've got to say. In the Bible it says in James that we are to be quick to listen or listen much, and we're to be slow to speak or speak little. So the Bible's very sure about how much we should listen and how little we should actually speak. Even Jesus said, if you have ears to hear, listen. And we have 2 ears and only 1 mouth. So I think the importance is listening. So I think to start with any communication, to increase your communication together as a couple, start by listening actually, because I think that encourages people to communicate with you if they feel listened.
And of course, tone of voice, how we say what we say is really important as well. If I was to talk to Mandy in a sort of rather unfriendly voice or a strict voice or a demanding voice, that gives a completely different message to Mandy than if I speak in a gentle or tender voice. So tone of voice, and that's something as a bloke I quite often get wrong. Tone of voice is really important in communication. Another thing, it's probably a male-female thing, I think. For a guy, it's quite often that we will be listening to our wife and they'll be telling us something, and we will assume that if it's a problem or a thought that she's sharing, that she wants it fixed. No, she might not want it fixed at all. She might just want us guys to listen.
Yes.
So, yeah.
We want to be heard. They want to fix, but we want to be heard. We just want them to know this is how we feel. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I found that quite a difficult concept to get hold of to start with when we were first married.
Yeah.
But I think I've got it just about.
And then finally, about this point, don't try to hijack every conversation or interrupt it. You might well know what to say or how to say it or what you think your husband or wife wants to hear. But before you are desperate to get in there and say your bit, listen. Just listen. And when they've stopped, that's when it's your turn. So don't hijack the conversation with something that you know about that actually might end up being not that relevant. And interrupting, well, it's awful, isn't it, when someone just comes in and you haven't finished your sentence and then they say something that just doesn't connect with what you've just said. So don't hijack the conversation and take it off somewhere else, and don't interrupt in the first place. Just listen.
So what do you do if you're in a relationship where your partner seems unable to give you that focused attention that you crave?
Well, what was it like when you first met? Things that you enjoyed talking about. Maybe you might just need to go back to those things. Maybe you just need to change the situation you're in, the atmosphere you're in. Think back to those common interests that attracted you in the first place. I know we need to talk about urgent things, but sometimes we just say, look, okay, I'm just going to go make a cup of coffee. Why don't we just sit down and I want to talk to you about something, and take the pressure off the other person who might be feeling that they they need to tell you, you want them to tell you something that they're not ready to tell you about or ask you about or whatever. So just change the atmosphere, change the situation.
So the second point is to listen with your eyes. I believe in Mark chapter 4 it says, you have ears to listen. So it's really important to look for the meaning in what your husband or wife is saying to you. And by looking, as well as using our ears, we can pick up on their body language, their emotions. Perhaps we can detect whether they're upset about something, and it may not be the thing that they're talking about. So we might have to look at the deeper picture of what we're seeing in the person's eyes. And sometimes it's helpful to say what you've understood. When your husband or wife is able to sort of express what they're saying to you, and then you reflect back what you think you've heard, because it may not be what they've actually said.
And then the third point is, try to make the most of your time together. So, we've talked about listening, really listening, but then you've got to apply that and enjoy each other's company, have regular times of connection. Remove all distractions, like the phone, the television, even the children, and make sure you make a date. Put it on the calendar, put it in your diary, and make sure you get out or do something different, so that in that situation it will encourage you to communicate better. Don't take your phone's mind, or maybe one, and put it somewhere where you only need it for those emergency phone call or something, but don't have a phone where you're going to be busy texting, which defeats the whole object of what we're trying to explain here. So yeah, make the most of that time.
Okay, we hope you found today's session helpful, but if you have any questions or you'd like to suggest any other areas of marriage you'd like us to talk about, please add your thoughts to the comments below.
We're aiming to post weekly videos, so if you're interested in what we have to say, please subscribe to us, and even better, also click on the bell to get notified of when we have posted new content. So we look forward to doing this again and seeing you again with some more interesting tips.
Yeah.
God bless you. Bye.
Bye.